All right, so today, section 3.3, we will be covering the distributive property. All right, so the distributive property has to be used when there is a number, okay, so you see this number 5 on the outside, being multiplied by multiple terms within a set of parentheses. Well, in the past, we would try to simplify what's inside parentheses first, right? That's what order of operations tells me, to simplify what's in parentheses before I multiply, right? But what happens when you can't simplify that? Because 2x plus 5, they're not like terms, okay? So we have to agree on that we cannot say 2x plus 5, combine it to like 7x or something. They're not like terms. So when that happens, when you can't simplify what's in parentheses, my rule says that instead you can distribute a number that's being multiplied on the outside of the group, 5 in this case. So we can say 5 times 2x, we multiply the coefficient, okay, times the number, so that would be the 2, and we can say 5 times positive 5. So another thing that's going to be important in this lesson is you pay attention to the sign in front of the number. Okay, so if it's negative, that's going to be something we have to pay attention to. All right, so what is 5 times 2? Let's do the first one. What's 5 times 2? 10, and then I bring down my x, 10x. Okay, now let's distribute and multiply by the second term in parentheses. What's 5 times 5? 25. Does everybody agree that is positive 25? Yes. So there must be a plus sign in front of the 25. We can't just leave it blank. Okay? And that's my answer. That's everything I can do. Because there are no more like terms that I can combine. Say, what in the world was the point of that? Okay? Well, pretty much everything that we're learning in chapter 3 is preparing us for chapter 4. So in chapter 4, we're going to see something like this, and then we solve an equation, okay? But first, we have to learn distributive property before I can put something like that on your plate. Does that make sense? So we're going to get really good at distributive property now while it's, kind of isolated, and then we'll put it into a bigger concept in chapter 4, okay? So last thing I want to say, this 5 right here, it didn't just disappear. It is now a part of this. Does everybody agree that 5 is a factor of 10 and 25? So in section 3.4, in the lesson that's coming after this one, which we're not doing until Tuesday, we're going to pull out those common factors, and it can be reversed. Okay, but we're not doing that today. All right, let's look at the next one. Again, guys, there's just a ton of practice today, okay, with the distributive. -1 times x and -1 times 9. Again, why do I do that? Because I can't do x plus 9. I can't add those together inside. So instead, I'm going to distribute the -1. Well, if there's nothing in front of the x, what is understood to be there? 1. So -1 times 1 would be -1. Okay? -1, and now bring down your x. -1x. What's -1 times positive 9? -9. So that's why I write a -9. Okay? -1x, and then a -9. Does everybody understand why there was a minus sign in front of the 9? Yeah. Because you said when I multiply -1 times 9, it was -9. All right, we want to avoid saying plus and negative. We just say minus. Okay, now we have a fraction. So you're going to have these fractions come up in the lesson today. Here is how I want you to write it. Okay, so I saw a lot of, we'll call them creative ways to show your work. Here's the problem with creativity when it comes to math. It can get confusing, right? Has anybody ever shown their work in kind of your own special way, and then you went back and you looked at it and you're like, I can't follow what I wrote there? Has anybody ever gotten lost like that? And you're like, okay, I got my work here, but I'm not really sure what I was doing, or you can't go back and track it? No? Yes? No? Okay, so that's why I want you to write it this way. anytime you have to multiply a fraction, you are probably going to have to show work. Doing it mental math is going to be more of a challenge. So here's how I want you to show it. Negative 1/3 times 3 over 1. Does everybody agree 3 over 1 is the same thing as 3? Yes. Okay? N. And I want you to put this into a grouping. Okay? What did I do here? I'm multiplying the fraction times the first term, and now I'm going to put that in a group. Okay? Now, is 1/3 positive or negative? Negative. So now there's going to be a minus here because you just said 1/3 was negative. Now I'm going to multiply 1/3 times the second term in the parentheses. Okay, so that's why I have another negative 1/3 minus 1/3 times negative 6 over 1. Okay? All right, so now I'm going to simplify both of these. Okay? So the 3 and 3, can those cross reduce? Yes. Yeah, cross reduce my 3's, and all I'm left with is negative 1n. Okay, now I need to multiply this set. Okay? The 3 and negative 6, can those cancel? Yes. To negative 2. So what's negative 1 times negative 2? Positive 2. Okay? So if you can show that breakdown, how you're multiplying the fraction by each term, to me, it's the easiest way to not get lost in all your work. Okay? Just kind of grouping it that way, and then we simplify at the end. How are we doing so far? Good. Doing okay? Any questions at all? Anything popping up in your head that you think not really quite sure, or anything at all? All right, let's go on to the next one. Again, guys, it's just going to be a lot of practice. I'm trying to give you as many scenarios as I can think of, but it's just a lot of practice on distributive today. So now we have a decimal. Negative 1.5 times 8m and negative 1.5 times negative n. It's important that you remember what is understood in front of a variable by itself. 1. A 1. That will help you get your sign right. Okay? So go ahead and try to distribute that. All right, I'm going to start kind of letting the reins off a little bit, checking on your work. All right, what is negative 1.5 times 8? Multiplication, guys, don't forget. You say, I thought there was a minus sign there. That just means 1.5 is negative. Not that it's subtraction, okay? What's 1.5 times 8?
Negative 12.
Yes, negative 12m. What's negative 1.5 times negative 1n?
1.5n.
Positive. So that's why a plus sign goes there. All right. Did you guys get it?
Yes.
Did you get it, especially on this half because I didn't check y'all? Did you get it? Good. Okay, let's do the next one. This one's easy peasy compared to the last one. Okay, guys, do this last one right here for this slide. Okay, negative 2x. Plus 6 or minus 6?
Plus 6.
Plus. Because a negative 2 times a negative 3, 2 negatives, positive answer, negative 2 plus 2x plus 6. Okay, great job. All right, what do we see here that might look a little different than the problems we've already solved, Hallie? Yes, there are 3 numbers inside the parentheses. So my suggestion to you would be to combine like terms, or to at least look for like terms before you distribute. Are there any like terms inside the parentheses that you could combine? Janice? Very good. What's negative 1 plus 7?
6.
Okay, so now let's rewrite it. Negative 3 times 6 plus 2x. All right, and now I can distribute. Go ahead and finish distributing this one. Okay, negative 3 times 6 is, say it with me, guys. Yeah, and what's negative 3 times 2x? Negative 6x, perfect. Now, a few of you said negative 6x minus 18. That's fine. That's fine because your signs are still right. Okay? Any questions? Did my people in the back get it? Did you guys get it right? Okay. All right, so now we see a fraction coming up again. Okay, but before I start distributing this fraction, what do I need to do first? Yes, combine those like terms. Yes, understood 1. All right, so I'm hearing the right things popping up. Okay, so combine like terms. I have an A, which there's an understood 1 in front of it. 1A minus 2A. What's 1A minus 2A?
1A.
Not 1A. Negative 1A. Okay, so 3 over 2 times 1A minus 4. Okay, now I'm ready to distribute. Well, here's the good news. I'm sorry, negative 1A. Here's the good news. Anything times 1 is just the other number. Okay, so now the question is it positive 3 over 2 or negative 3 over 2? It's positives, 2 negatives. Okay, even odd rule for multiplication. So 3 over 2, A. Okay, now here we go again on the multiplication. Minus 3 over 2 times negative 4 over 1. All right, I highly suggest that you write this step. I will not take off for it on a quiz or a test if you end up at the right answer, but if you write it this way, I believe your chances for getting it right go way up. So I strongly suggest that you do it this way. Cross reduce to a negative 2. What is negative 3 times negative 2?
Negative 6.
Positive 6 because it's 2 negatives. So 3 over 2A plus 6. Okay, they're getting a little harder, aren't they? Okay, but that's okay. All right, it's just going to really test us on our positive negative computations. All right, moving on. Okay, so let's do, we really could do both of these. 20 minutes left. I've got a few more things to do after this. We'll just do the first one. All right, and again, this second one, we're not shying away from the challenge. I'm about to give you a pretty challenging problem. We still have 2 more after this, so we're really just kind of selecting out, okay? All right, so negative 1/2. Here's the great thing about 1/2. Half. What's half of 10? 5, okay? So as soon as you see a fraction, we love half because we actually don't have to multiply that fraction. Stop looking at the clock, you people. Stop looking at it. Okay, y'all are distracting me. Okay, so what's half of 6? Look up here on the left. Okay, what's half of 6? 3, and since half was negative, it's negative 3n. You see what we did there? What's half of 4? 2, and since it was negative, it's going to be negative 2 plus 2n. What's negative 3n plus 2n? Negative 1n minus 2. So what we see now happening is once we do the distributive property, we have a little bit left to still combine like terms. Okay? We still have a little bit left. All right? And that's what we're going to see on this next slide. I told you there was another fraction one coming, and I want to do the last one. I think it'll be a good challenge for us. All right, but before we do that one, let's go ahead and do this first one with the decimals. Is there anything to distribute with 3.5m? Anything at all?
No.
3.5m? No, so I'm just going to bring it down for now. Bring down the 3.5m. Now I need to distribute negative 1.5 to each term in parentheses. So negative 1.5m. All right. Anybody know what negative 1.5 times negative 10 would be? Okay, so 1 times 10 is just 10, and then half of 10 is 5. So 10 plus 5 is 15. All right, positive 15 or negative?
Positive.
Okay, now is this my final answer? It's okay if you need more time to do that math, okay? Just still try to follow along. Say, I need more time to multiply to get 15. That's okay. All right, but just follow along with me right where we are now. Is this my final answer? No. No, what do I need to do?
Subtract.
Yes, 2m plus 15. Okay, so now what makes this next one challenging? Well, part of it is I have distributive here, and I have distributive here. Do you see how I could just kind of section that into two groups? Okay, so I'm going to simplify both distributive properties and then bring them back together. All right, remember how I asked you to do it. 4 over 5 times 10 over 1w. Okay, you're multiplying that. Okay, plus, because 4/5 is positive, you're going to distribute 4 over 5 times negative 5 over 1. Okay, so that's my second. All right, now, can I just multiply this last one out because there's no fractions? All right, so what's negative 2 times w? Negative 2w, okay? So at least the second set's a little easier, right? What's negative 2 times positive 9? No, multiply. Negative 18. Okay, so I still have some simplifying to do. Okay, I still have some simplifying to do. I need to multiply these fractions. Go ahead and do that and bring down your answer once you multiply. Okay, so we're going to cross-reduce 5 and 10 just to make our lives a little easier. 4 times 2w is 8w. Did you guys get 8w? Did y'all get 8w? All right, now 5 and negative 5. Guys, this is so important. 5 was negative, so when you cross-reduce it, you must keep it negative 1. 4 times negative 1 is negative 4. Now bring down the rest. Minus 2w minus 18. Do you see any like terms here that can still be combined? Yes. What's 8 minus 2? 6w. What's negative 4 minus 18? Negative 22. All right, that's about as difficult as you'll see them. Okay, so we literally just went from easy, like 2 times w minus 3, okay, to this. Do you think that's a little more complicated? Absolutely. All right, if you are feeling, listen, please hear me on this. If you're feeling overwhelmed with a problem like this, not to worry. We have a week and a half before your test. That's plenty of time to get here. But I have to show you the whole kind of spectrum of things, and then we're going to go back through and we're going to work through some of these together. Okay? All right. A square pool. I would disagree with them on it being square because if it's a square, aren't all the sides supposed to be the same? Yeah. Well, the top and bottom are s plus 2. So whatever s is, you have to add 2. I mean, am I right? So they won't all be the same. Like say s equaled 2. Then the sides are 2 and the tops are 4. No? Anyway, sorry. That's just my little pet peeve that fourth hour was pointing out as well. Because I said, guys, is it a square or rectangle? Everybody said square. I didn't realize it said square up there. And I said, no, it's a rectangle. And they were like, it says square right there. So there we go. Okay, so we're going to say it's a rectangle because the dimensions are telling us it is a rectangle. Now, it says, how many tiles does it take to border the pool? Border and fill are two different things. If I'm bordering something, what dimension is that? Perimeter or area? Perimeter. Yes. To fill something is the area. So that's my clue that it's perimeter. And again, we're using perimeter of a rectangle. Perimeter of a rectangle equals, say it with me, 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. Use a cursive L because print L looks like a 1. All right, so perimeter equals 2 times the length, which is 2, s plus 2. Yes, you can, as long as it doesn't look like a 1. Plus 2 times the width, which the width is just s. All right, so here we see the distributive property creeping back again. All right, all we're going to do is distribute and then combine like terms. Whatever we're left with after that, that's our answer because we don't know what s equals. Yesterday, that was a little frustrating because we didn't know what the skateboard kits cost, so it was like a little confusing. All right, can I distribute to times s plus 2?
Yeah.
Yes, guys. Yeah, we're almost done. P equals 2s plus 4 plus 2s. Okay, great. This is my answer.
Wait, what? Wait, how did you?
Yeah, look. 2 times s is 2s. 2 times 2 is 4. And then I brought down my 2s. Sorry, I did that a little quick. Okay. So is this my answer? Can I add my s's together?
Yeah.
Yep. All right. P equals 4s plus 4. All right. Don't worry. I'm not sending you home with homework this weekend. So we will continue this on Monday. Wait, we're not done. Who wants candy? All right. I'm going to give you about 3 to 5 minutes. Whoever answers this problem correctly in the next 3 to 5 minutes will get a piece of candy. Basically, what they're saying, what they're asking us to do, these terms fit somewhere in these yellow blocks. You have to tell me where they fit to give you an answer of 9x minus 12. Okay? So it's like a little puzzle. Which term goes where? Okay? I can tell you that you probably won't figure it out in 3 minutes if you're just trying to guess. There's too many combinations, okay? So let's see. I was very impressed with how many people got it in the last class, so we'll just see who gets it. Okay, so 3 over 2 comes first, times 4x minus 8. You're good, Maddie. Okay, distribute, and you get 9x minus 12. Okay, you guys did a great job. All right, that's everything you need to know for 3.3.